found, well, I'm not really sure, it looks burnt.
We just saw two bright eyes looking back, and then obviously discovered it was a very severely burned little kitten.
We weren't sure at that point if he was going to survive. There was just a look in his eye that I saw. So we got a phone call in the night from the police saying that they had been called down by a taxi driver that had kind of found something. They said something under a car. We didn't know what we were expecting. We didn't know what we were getting. Police said it looked quite bad. So he was brought in. At the time we estimated to be about 6 to 8 weeks old, but he was very small and incredibly burnt. So face, feet, absolutely stunk of like smoke effectively, and was covered in ash. So at the time they said they found him under a taxi, that there was no other information. When they dragged him out, they didn't really know what they were looking for. They brought him in, I think fully expecting that we would say there's nothing we can do with this. Initially, I think our thoughts were, is this the right way to go? With regards to, is he gonna be okay? And pain-wise, is this manageable? Like, what has actually happened to him? There was a bonfire nearby, so we suspected that he'd maybe been in the bonfire, maybe as a stray, maybe as a like a cat that had wandered out. Obviously, we'll never know what the actual outcome of that is, but. Anyone knows that burns are one of the most painful things that they can have, so we decided to do that. Put him in oxygen, because that was what we thought we probably needed to do most of. And at that point, I think we all thought, well, is this a deterioration or just part of the course when it comes to getting through the first 24 hours? At that point, I think we all just knew, okay, this kitten has the will to survive, he has the will to carry on, and so we won't give up on him at this point. And then we were going to make decisions after that, basically. It is the morning now, we're going to leave our shift. Do we carry on and tell them to try and carry on? Or do we call it a day now? And at that point he was doing really well, so we said, okay, we'll carry on. And then we left him with the day team for that day. For me, I would like to believe that nobody would purposely do that to a 6-week-old kitten. At some point that I might have come into him not being here, yeah. And I had said to the nurse, please text me if that happens, because I don't want to come into shift and find out. Cats like Firecat, it was all day, every day, all night kind of care. You get more attached, and so I was quite willing to take him on at that point. So the fact that I didn't hear anything, sometimes no news is good news, isn't it? And I think that was definitely a point of no news is good news when it came to how he was doing that day. My son was 2 at the time. I had warned him. Obviously I knew that the kitten did not look like all the other kittens we'd had. We'd had multiple hand-reared kittens in our house that had never looked like that had never had the kind of care that he was going to need. And at the time he was wearing a little collar to stop himself injuring himself and to stop himself licking his feet. He was still very much smelt like smoke that lasted for days and days and days. So I had pre-warned my son, this kitten is not like the other kittens, that this kitten was going to need extra love, but not too much from, the wrong hands. So as his skin kind of healed, what happened was his skin on his face got really, really tight, and in turn that turned his eyelids inside out effectively. At that point we knew he was going to need a surgery at least, and we didn't know what sort. At the moment we knew that his tear production was probably not going to be the best because of the state of his eyes, and we didn't know how best to go about that. So I consulted our ophthalmologist, and she said, okay, this is what we're going to try. We're going to try and do a surgery where we effectively make an incision, kind of pull his eyelids down. And it was a complicated surgery, and she knew it was coming up, so she got advice from other ophthalmologists, which was really good. And she said she would donate her time, which, you know, is amazing, because at the time I knew I couldn't insure him for this. It was an ongoing condition that he now had. I'd already started an Instagram account for him that was gaining quite a lot of momentum when it came to these people want to help. So I put out a crowdfund for trying to raise some money for this surgery and said any money that I raise over and above what it costs me, I will send to charity. It still had a lot that needed doing. It was still very exposed conjunctiva. There was still quite a lot of bleeding. He would like fuss it and make it bleed. So then we chose to do a second surgery. We knew that it was going to make his eye slightly smaller than the other one, but ultimately save his sight. And initially the healing process was really good. It looked good. It seemed to be taking really well. At that point we knew we didn't have any extra kind of skin to correct it. So we ended up doing a third surgery where we moved his lip, effectively the side of his lip, up and did a flap and flapped it to the side of his eye, which created a fake eyelid around the side of his eye. And that is the final surgery he had, and that is what has healed his eye. Going forward from that, the ophthalmologist did say if this doesn't work, I think he might lose his eye, because ultimately we can't do anything else. I had people writing to me here, to, you know, at work, saying I want to send you money, people sending me checks to work, so we started donating them. But at that point he wasn't called, he didn't have a name. We took all the names at work, we'd done all the, like, call him this, call him that, call him anything. And then my son was like, let's call him Firecat. And at 2 years old I was like, okay. At the time we didn't think we were keeping him. I was like, we can call him the Firecat for a little while, and then whoever takes him can call him what they want to call him. Once he decided to stay, it was stuck. That was his, Firecat was his name from that point.
Some animals show us that courage can come in small packages. Our next winner is a cat with the heart of a lion.
Oh, I know, I hate to admit that we even called him Firecat now. He's really naughty.
Oh.
Which is funny, but...
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, he's...
So I'm delighted to introduce all the way from the villa some of the only people to get a holiday in lockdown. It's Love Island stars Faye and Teddy.
Amazing, inspirational.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Big applause, everyone.
Thank you so much to our lovely Love Islanders, Annas and Jenny.
Thank you.